You are listening to an entertainment program put together by a company called Financial Ineptitude. Anything said on this show is not an endorsement or professional advice. Would you really want to tell a court of law you were suing us because you thought taking financial advice from two idiots on a podcast put out by Financial Ineptitude was a good idea? Really? Clown hat smiley face.
Hello and welcome to the China Shop. Come right in, step right in, one and all. I'm Shopkeeper Dan, and with me as always is Kyle, creator of FinancialIneptitude.com. How are you doing today, Kyle?
Doing good. Got a lot to talk about this week.
Oh yeah, another fun, tumultuous week.
Well, depends on your definition of fun.
I have a very sardonic definition of fun, this is true. Come on in. Sit back, relax, rage against the hedge machine. We'd like to welcome any new listeners just joining us. We're here to smash our way in a complete set of fine china, sharing our ever-growing strategies for trying to maximize gains and cut losses. If you're new to the shop today, and if you're new to stock trading in general, you can always check out the Knowledge Center on FinancialIneptitude.com, or you can give our beginner trading episode a listen. We'll put a link to that in the episode description. But the best place to be is our Discord server. Kyle and I are on there every day. It's just really an awesome place to be.
Yeah, join our Discord server. You can chat with us directly or any of the other friends of the show in real time about what's happening with the market. Discuss your own strategies, favorite stocks. We've shared a lot of lessons on this show, gained a lot from our guests, so we want to learn from your guys' lessons too. So join us in the China Shop on the Discord channel and share. Teach us, please help us. Help. We need help.
Everybody helping each other.
Yeah.
And when you do join the server, send us a private message or email with your mailing address, and we'll send you a Smash It Yourself mug straight from the shop.
Yes. And if it comes pre-broken, not my fault.
That's got to be the post office.
Yeah.
We're really glad you're here today, folks. We have a lot of fun. It's always better with friends. We want to give a shout out to all our international listeners. Love you guys. Wish I spoke all your languages. Someday, I'll get there.
Thank you for speaking English.
Yeah, right. All right, we got a sensational, electric, prophetical episode today for you. Lots of market-moving news, plenty of stocks on the radar, and more options than a termite at a Home Depot.
I like it.
All right. So, and hey, we got a little bit of show news to go over. First of all, we'd like to thank, we've had some amazing guests on here. George Papazov, Richard Friesen, Obi Onyejikwe. Really, really great guests. We've learned a lot from them. I know every single one I've taken away a different thing, and I've been carrying it forward, and it's just really been great.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And upcoming, we're going to do a call this week with David Modell, Chief Analyst and Opportunity Researcher for Portfolio Wealth Global. So that'll be really exciting. I believe he's got a YouTube channel.
He's going to talk to us about some different strategies that we can look at for trading, and looks like he's also an expert on crypto, so get some more insight into that sector that we kind of learned a little bit about with Sean, but we never really followed up on that too much, did we? I think you traded a little bit in it and lost your ass off.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk more about that in the news.
Oh, you got more to... Okay.
So, Kyle, I understand there's some Discord channel changes?
Yeah, we're looking to add another channel. I've been keeping my trade log on the website. That's just starting to become a little cumbersome for me. I know that people probably want to know what you're doing too, so I think I'm going to create a channel that's just going to be for you and me to post all of our moves. Anytime we buy anything, anytime we sell anything, that way anybody who's in our community can kind of see what we're doing real time. So we'll post, what we buy it at. If we sell it, so we'll let you know what the gains or losses in the recent history.
and maybe even a little blurb on why we're making that buy or sell.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it'd just be a little bit cleaner and easier for us to do it as we're making them, rather than trying going back and tally up everything at the end of the week.
No, I love it. So get on that Discord. Lots of cool stuff happening there.
Yes, please.
Speaking of, we love it. Absolutely adore it. Reach out to us. We just can't wait enough for your messages, your comments on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Discord. Of course, we got that Discord link in the description. Maybe, though, you're old school, and you just love email, you can reach out to us at twobulls@financialineptitude.com, or you can even give us a phone call, 725-22-BULLS. Maybe you got a hot stock tip. Maybe you want to tell us about a great trade you just made. Maybe you just love to hear the sound of your own voice on a podcast. It doesn't matter. We love it when you reach out. And we actually have a call today we'll get to later when we're talking stocks. All right, Kyle, you know what that brings us to? You know what it's time for?
Yes, I do.
My favorite segment these days
Not mine.
has got to be the bet. Woo! The bet.
If I didn't have one decent week somewhere in the last month, I would have finally switched over to doing what I thought about, and that was just shorting whatever my initial pick was. But I held off because I actually picked one that did all right. So
There's still time, my friend.
yeah, there's still time. So I guess I get to go first again. So I went with CCIV. I was hoping to see a nice bounce. Remember, I set a stop loss at 28 because I was a little bit upset. It actually opened up at 32.49, which is about where I wanted to actually, that's what I was hoping to see at the end of the week. I didn't want to buy it at my high point Monday right off the bat. So, of course, it triggered that stop loss.
We had actually talked about what if it goes down in pre-market before you had a chance to buy it.
Yeah, I never really specified what I do if it shot up too high. So, yeah, that one's on me, and that was to the tune of that $28 stop loss did save me about, 1.5%. So, yeah, my $500 is now worth $430.90. Off to a beautiful start. Feel like we switched roles. Some point in the last 2 months, we crossed paths.
I'm not exactly picking winners here. I'm just picking the best losers. That's what I'm doing.
Hey, you still ended positive last month.
That's true. All right, yeah, my pick was CNXC. Opened up the week at $124.88. Ended the week at $122.55. So I lost about 2%, chiseled my $500 down to $490.67, which was better than that random.
Yeah. Random SWKS opened at 181.10, closed at 173.44. And, I was heartbroken to see that it just missed its stop loss at 159.21. I think it got to about 159.50 or 159.60. It was so close. If it would have triggered that, I'd at least be slightly in the lead over the random, but no. As it closed at 173.44, its total is now at 478.85. And now I'm firmly in last place. Ooh. Do you think the random will take side bets? Oh, man, I'm going to need a shot in the arm here.
Yeah, well, I'm always open to side bets when they come up. We'll see.
Oh, and speaking of consequences, I sent you the pictures that you requested. So once I get your approval or selection, then we'll get those updated on the website and my Facebook profile.
Oh, yes. Sounds good to me. And though you listeners won't be privy to the consequences, we do want you to start joining in the bet.
Yes.
So if you reach out, message us, get a hold of us, you do it on the Discord, email, leave a phone call. Let us know what your bet pick for the next week is going to be, and we'll get you in the running. And if you beat us, we'll give you some China Shop swag.
Yes, we will. We only have mugs right now, but we'll have to start increasing that offering here soon. I'm envisioning plates and teacups and all kinds of fun stuff.
Oh, yeah. All the fun stuff. Yeah, so if it's Wednesday and you're listening to the show, just send us your bet pick and it'll be the pick for next week.
Sure.
It's that simple. You don't have to worry about listening on Saturday and getting it in on Sunday. Just we're going to be doing the bet and it's going to be running next week. So let us know. Join the game.
Exactly.
Bets are fun. Stay tuned. We're going to have another exciting bet at the end of this episode, folks. But until then, I think it's time to go over the results of our Twitter poll.
All right. Last week, we asked what everyone out there thought the NASDAQ was going to do this month. 63% were bearish, saying it's going down. So far, they look to be right. 25% said it's going up, and 12% roughly saying sideways.
Okay.
So yeah, the masses. I don't know if they're voting after the market started declining, or if people just know a lot better than I did. It seems that we're firmly in correction territory at this point. So whether or not that's going to continue, I think this next coming week's going to be really big on figuring out which way the market's going to run for the rest of the month.
Yep. If it keeps going like this, those Cathy Wood ARK funds, they're not going to be worth much.
Speaking of, let's get to some news because I think you got some more to expound on that.
Yeah, well, a little bit. All right, let's cue the music.
The new music.
Ooh, it's New Music March.
Woo!
Where we all know why we're listening today. The sharpest person with the weak to replace. So sit back, we got some market affairs. Yeah, some stories for the bulls and the bears. Clowns running companies, laws change overnight, here we are. It's time for China Shop News. Yeah, now, it's time for China Shop News.
I think that might be one of my favorites out of the group that you sent me. That one is really catchy. I think we should probably lead off news here with, we got to talk about stimulus updates.
Got to get me some more stimmy going straight in the portfolio.
I think we talked about, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, the House had passed their $1.9 trillion plan.
Yeah.
Got to the Senate, and it seems like the Senate had some resistance, and not from where you'd expect. I mean, the Republicans obviously mounted their resistance to it, but the moderate Democrats seemed like they were trying to flex their muscle, which was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So they are the ones that actually dropped the weekly federal supplement for the jobless benefits. They dropped it to $300 now, which was at $400 initially. As far as other changes that were really in there, it didn't look like there was a whole lot more. Just browsing through this article, sounds like minimum wage is off the table already. All the Republican amendments basically got rejected, which isn't surprising. But there should be voting on this today, actually. We're recording this on Saturday, so they should be trying to pass it in the Senate today. If it passes, then it'll go back to the House because they've got changes in there that they'll have to vote on as well. So another hurdle looks like it's about to be crossed for getting everybody some more money.
All right. Well, that'll be good for consumer retail.
I feel like that might be really good for tech too, because I think that's really where the retail investor is really focused heavily on. You know, that extra money in their hands. Are they going to be buying all their favorite stocks that are trading at a severe discount right now, or are they going to move on to bigger and better things?
That stimulus check might even be able to get you 3 shares of Tesla by the time the check comes out.
It's pretty close right now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's 500 something. You could at least get 2.
Yeah. All right. What do you got, Dan? You mentioned something about Cathy Wood.
Yeah. Speaking of Tesla dropping, they've lost $200 billion in market cap this past month.
Good thing Elon doesn't care about money.
Good thing he doesn't care about money. But you know who does is Cathy Wood, who features Tesla pretty heavy in a lot of her ARK ETFs.
Yeah.
I had moved into the ARK Q as one of my long terms, and I moved out. And I'm glad I did, because every one of her ETFs has lost all the gains it's made for the year. In fact, I was just looking at the ARK-Q stock price. Yeah, it's down to $80. I bought it right as it was kissing $100.
Oof.
So
Yeah.
it's had a sharp decline just from in the last month.
When you're buying ETFs, typically you're trying to dollar cost average those. So those aren't your typical, jump in, make a quick buck, and jump out type plans.
It's true. I should be buying like crazy.
That actually kind of leads us into this week's Twitter poll, which is going to center around Cathy Wood. I want to ask you guys out there, is she just lucky, this last year? Or do you think their ETFs are going to rebound in a big way?
That's a good call. That's a good poll. That's a good question.
Yeah.
When it's not a historic bull run, is she any good?
Yes, exactly. To be fair, she was the one who called Tesla at 2000.
Yeah.
Which everyone thought she was crazy when she was doing that, but she nailed that one. In fact, it's still trading at about there anyway, right? Because it's split 4 for 1, so even if it's trading at 500, she's still right.
So with the retreat and correction in tech and the NASDAQ, yeah, those ARK ETFs, they've gone down. But like you said, with cost averaging, this is the time to buy them.
Yep.
The lower they go, the more you should buy.
Especially if you still believe in it.
If you're in it long-term cost averaging.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. I've got some more Elon news, and since you're talking about the drop of Tesla, or the fall of Tesla, which I guess still hasn't really been a fall yet because it's still doing pretty well over the last 52 weeks. Are you familiar with Starlink?
Yes, the internet stuff.
These are all the satellites he's been launching out, trying to get his internet provider.
Yeah, the Tesla cars all use it.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that was the case, too.
Every Tesla car has its own satellite 4G, 5G connection as part of owning the car.
Now, this isn't, anything imminent. This is something that's probably a couple years down the road, but the Starlink is probably the next IPO that's going to be an Elon Musk-led name that's going to become available for, the public to purchase. We'd love to see SpaceX turn public, so that way we could go and purchase that. But I think he's come out and said that he doesn't want to have to answer to shareholders when it comes to trying to fuel his space dream, and that makes sense.
Makes sense.
Yeah. But as far as Starlink goes, that one's got a lot of potential to become basically broadband from the internet. And one of the really nice things about what he's on record as saying is that he's promising retail investors going to be like having first crack at this thing when it does happen.
Oh, like a direct listing?
Here's his actual response to a follower asking him about SpaceX. So we'll probably IPO Starlink, but only several years in the future when revenue growth is smooth and predictable. Public market does not like erratic cash flow. Haha. Yeah, good point. He says, I'm a huge fan of small retail investors. We'll make sure they get top priority. You can hold me to it.
Okay. That's interesting.
So yeah, this is something really to keep on your radar. Like I said, it's going to be a couple years down the line, looks like, but man, this could be a really fun one to jump into.
Well, just the cult of celebrity around.
Exactly,
Elon
that's
Musk
what.
Make sure
if you can get in there
moves.
and that thing pops, oof, that's going to be a good one. There are a lot of Tesla fanboys out there. Speaking of IPOs, I've got another one. I think I shared this with our Discord group and on Twitter. RocketLabs has announced that they're going to become publicly traded through a merger with Vector Acquisition Corporation. Let's see. RocketLabs is only one of 2 U.S. commercial companies delivering regular access to orbit, 97 satellites deployed for governments, private companies across 16 different missions. It's also the second most frequently launched U.S. orbital rocket with a proven platform already operating on orbit missions booked to the Moon, Mars, and Venus. So I think their rocket actually has the capability of delivering payloads all the way out to Mars.
Oh, wow.
Because you remember you were looking at the acquisition company that was VACQ.
I had shares for a few days.
I remember we were talking about the valuation of that, what the price should be. Like the company itself, implied pro forma enterprise value of $4.1 billion for Rocket Lab, which is about 5.4 times the 25 projected revenue of approximately $750 million. Transaction result in cash in the balance sheet of $750 million through contribution of existing cash. Yeah, I was trying to find the percentage that they're actually acquiring because I didn't think it was actually all that much. It wasn't like a 50% stake. It seemed like I want to say they're only acquiring like 10% of the company.
I remember when we talked about it, it was like 10 or 20% when I was looking at it, and I remember expressing exasperation that they could take the company public by only owning 20%. Oh yeah, I don't know. I need to read up more on the rules of SPAC acquisitions and taking things public because I'm ignorant. If you guys know out there, let us know. Hit us up on Discord. Give us a call.
Maybe that's something our upcoming guest can answer for us.
Ah, yes.
All right. Well, that about covers all the news that I've got, Dan. You got anything else for news?
I do. I have one last thing. I want to talk a little bit about cryptos. Bitcoin has taken a little bit of a beating this week.
Last couple of weeks, actually.
The article I was looking at said that it's lost $400 billion from its peak last weekend. So, yeah, it is always a roller coaster, lots of ups and downs. There's a couple developments. The first that actually I think is a threat to the Bitcoin as a cryptos in general in terms of how much people are investing in them is that China is looking into making their currency completely digital.
How do you do that? Do they have to mine it too then, or is it just we're just going to make it all? Are they just going to get rid of paper currencies altogether?
I think the idea is to get rid of paper currency. And instead of mining it, I think the government just like they would print the money, they just create it digitally. I
mean, that's not necessarily the same thing, though, isn't it? I thought the mining and the scarcity of being able to actually mine it's what creates the value in cryptos.
Yeah, I did not find the nitty-gritty details of the Chinese plan. I just found several analysts speculating that allowing the currency to be digital would provide that digital liquidity that they think is going to move investors into more Chinese investments and digital assets than Bitcoin, because it'll be seen as more stable. Even though, like you're saying,
Chinese stock or anything Chinese is somehow going to be more stable. Well, I guess Bitcoin's pretty roller coaster, but we've seen with some of those Chinese stocks how fast they can turn.
I'll tell you what Bitcoin doesn't have. It doesn't have a gigantic government saying, no, it's worth this much.
Right.
I think when you have the backing of the Chinese empire, you'll be it's going to be safer and probably more stable. But I don't know. I'm not a crypto analyst.
God, that makes me think of that. Thinking about like money in itself, like what actually determines its value. It makes me think of that episode of Rick and Morty where he crashes the entire galactic empire by changing their currency value from 1 to 0.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah.
So the only thing that's making anything worth anything is the fact that we all agree that it's worth something.
Yeah, correct. That is money in a nutshell.
That just blows my mind when you try to think about how that actually works.
All right, I think that wraps up news.
What's our new song?
What's...
oh, sorry. Okay, go ahead. Yep, go ahead.
Just like take two... Let Lionel lick Leland's lusty leathers. I'd like to take a second and...
I hope you leave that in there one of these times.
I'd like to tell you, Two Bulls in a China Shop is brought to you by Sue Pullen at Fairway Independent Mortgage, an equal housing lender. Sue Pullen is a certified mortgage advisor who focuses on finding the right product for you and your needs. With over 20 years of experience, Sue has helped thousands of homeowners, and whether it's purchasing, refinancing, even reverse mortgages, Sue will help. She's got a license in 25 states and growing, so reach out to her, see what Sue can do for you. Best way to reach her is to just give her a call at 520-977-7904 or in an email at spullen@fairwaymc.com. Fairway Independent Mortgage, MLS number 2289. Sue Pullen, MLS number 206048. That email again is spullen@fairwaymc.com, and that number is 520-977-7904. Reach out to Sue for all your mortgage needs.
All right, Dan. What's our new stock song?
Oh, well, why don't we listen?
Here we come, trading on the street. Get the craziest gains from when we're in too deep. Hey, we're just two bulls smashing through a china shop. We're so glad you joined us, and now it's time to talk about stocks.
Smashing through a china shop.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that.
Oh, well, Kyle, why don't you lead us off in stocks since I did the last news?
Well, I don't have any moves to talk about in stocks. I'll talk about the moves that I made in options since they're a part of an option strategy.
Oh, okay.
But I did want to talk about some sector research I was doing this week. So I was looking through to see who the best performing sectors were over the last month and this last week, and I was kind of surprised to see that energy was like right at the top of that list. I think a lot of that had to do with the cold weather snap in Texas because it seemed like that affected oil supply, drove a lot of prices higher even as the inventories were building. But inventories are building, and I think OPEC's even talking about revising their production rates. Were they talking about production cuts or increasing their production rates again? Do you remember?
They're talking about cuts because it's driving American oil companies.
Oh, they were talking
higher.
about cuts again? Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, wait, no, if they're talking about cuts, then that's good for all these energy stocks too, if the oil price, because that'll drive oil prices higher again, right?
Yes, which is why when I sent you that message saying, hey, there's a great opportunity on an option straddle on QEP.
Yeah.
like oil's going to move up or down.
I knew I saw that somewhere. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so I was looking at a couple different potentials for movers. OIS is one of them. FTI was the other. FTI was really interesting because they reported okay earnings on the 25th. They had a sales beat, but an earnings per share miss. They had their price targets cut, but the stock was still going up. I think it had a price target of around 11, and it was trading under 10. So, I mean, that was just interesting to see that, like, by far the top performing sector was energy. I wouldn't have expected energy to be at the top of that list.
No.
Probably should be looking at these a lot more often. The second sector that caught my eye was consumer staples. We talked about consumer discretionaries before, but consumer staples, I think, are more of like the needs versus the wants that discretionaries are. Consumer staples had a negative month, but they reversed that to be like the second best performer in the last week.
Oh, wow.
And the stock that's got my attention there is BGS. They make a whole bunch of different stuff, mostly foodstuffs. I think they also make like the Ortega taco shells. They bounced after their earnings on the 2nd. Again, they had a sales and EPS miss, but they showed really good growth over the year. There's a large spike in volume on Friday after Jenny Garrington. I'm not sure who exactly she is, but apparently she works for Gilman Hill. She added to her position, and that seemed to drive the price up on Friday. Again, the volume spiked by about, I think it was about 1.7 million traded on an average of 1.2. those are the things that have caught my eye this week that I'm going to be looking at, trying to figure out what to do with next week, whether I'm going to just buy shares or try to look at doing straddles in the energy one. BGS, I'm kind of liking that one as one to just buy and own. Maybe look at some covered calls. I got to see how the volatility looks on all these. It might be time to, rotate out of tech. I think we're maybe a month late on that. But, but yeah, it was interesting to me to see that the reversal on the staples. Like they were doing poorly, and then suddenly this week good. And if they follow like the same trajectory like energy was doing, then we might have a couple weeks run out of them coming up.
Darling Ingredients is one of our pick'ems that's been on there a long time.
That's in there. Yep.
And that one really changed course this week.
It makes me wonder if it's more of a bounce or if it's some sector rotation going on. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I don't know. But that got in our pick'ems in like October or November, didn't it? Last year?
Yeah, that was one that did quite well for us.
Yeah, we picked it in the mid-40s, and it's currently at like 73.5. That's a consumer staple. And since the beginning of February, we saw that in a real downward trend. And I was honestly expecting it to hit the stop loss. Maybe it did, 71 down to 65. It got close.
I didn't update last week's yet. I got to do that today, so it's quite possible it already hit.
It got down to 64 on Monday, and then it's climbed back up to almost 74. So like the week in that one alone, wow. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Two other things that kind of caught my eye that I decided to throw here in the stocks instead of the news. It was just some M&A news. Cresco Labs, I shared this story earlier in the week about them raising like $1 billion, and I can't remember if it was secondary offerings or how they did it, but makes me wonder if maybe they've got some kind of acquisition in mind, or if maybe they're just trying to free up capital in order to be able to make a move coming up. That's one of my favorite marijuana stocks.
Mm-hmm.
Cresco Labs. Oh. And then the other one was there's a lot of chatter about Draftkings. People are speculating something's going to happen with them. The rumored merger and acquisition targets for Draftkings include The Score and X Games.
So Draftkings is looking to acquire other companies? That's what I'm hearing?
There's rumors that they're going to acquire somebody. And then there's the Forbes article just has a couple of different ones that they're looking at. But it'd be interesting to see what Draftkings, if they do announce a merger, are they going to follow the same pattern that we've seen?
With the drop?
Where, the stock drops significantly after announcing something like that? Or is it going to be more of a merger where they're going to see value gain?
Yeah, we're still waiting to see that AMD pick back up from their merger, their acquisition. Sorry,
they did. They went really well until the tech sell-off, and now they're trading at like 80s or below 80, 78, I think.
Ooh, wow! But
it almost peaked at $100 after that merger announcement. Anyway, that's all I've got for stocks to talk about. What do you got, Dan?
First off, I would like to say that we've got a caller, Ben from Tucson, had a question about some marijuana stocks. Let's hear from Ben.
Hi, Ben from Tucson here. It seems like maybe pot stocks are down, and I wondered if I missed some kind of bad news about marijuana. Anyway, thanks. Bye.
So Ben, as an avid marijuana stock fan, I would never, ever, ever touch the stuff in real life. Ooh, no, very straight-laced. Okay. As a big pot fan in all aspects of my life, I too thought maybe I missed some news. No, you didn't miss any news. The news has only been good in terms of the development of the industry. What happened is we had some of the pot stocks get a lot of retail investing, a lot of flurried attention from possible short squeezes in Tilray, and the whole sector got lifted for about a week.
Right.
Artificially lifted very high, and what's been happening is it's correcting back down. If you draw a trend line, I think Friday my MJ ETF closed at 21 and change. And if you draw the trend line, that's still nice and steady upwards from where it was last year. 21.21.
If you connect the dots on draw a straight line with the low points, what's the bottom that you see on that?
6 months, and I'm drawing a trend line of just the bottoms. The lowest one is back in November, just above $10.
No, extrapolate that out to today. Hang on, I'll do it. So it looks like 18 is as low as we should see it go, roughly.
Okay, so we could see it go as low as 18, but we're still on a very solid upward trajectory. We just had some noise in the process.
Yeah, no, over the course of the last 6 months, I mean, you looked at, back in October, November, you were trading at just over $10 a share. Still doing quite well.
Still doing quite well.
You got to look big picture on some of these, especially when you're a long-term investor.
Right. But there it is. So that's what's happening with pot stocks. So back to my stock trades. I did buy more as pot went down. To cost average. I moved actually because tech and NASDAQ. I was doing that seesaw back and forth between the TQQ and the SQQ, and I was doing really well.
Yeah.
And I messed the whole thing up. One misstep wiped out all the gains that I got from it. And of course it was, I woke up at 4 a.m. to use the bathroom and like an idiot looked at the pre-market on my phone and was like, oh, it's turning around. And I swear somewhere in my head, your voice was like, pre-market doesn't mean shit. And I'm like, shut up, Kyle. What do you know? Oh, yeah. So I ended up moving from the SQQ back into the TQQ at the exact wrong time.
Oh, boy.
Got the hell out of it. And then I was like, that's it. I'm just putting it all in marijuana right now and hoping this is the end of the dip from that tumultuous stuff. It wasn't all doom and gloom this week. I did have one trade that was kind of spectacular, but it's Rocket Mortgages had a bit of a spike.
Oh, yeah.
And so I don't, it's not like a strategy that it could move going forward, but yeah, I got the message from you. They're like, hey, check out what happened with Rocket Mortgage. And then it was at 29 and it was like, okay, buy. And then like the next day I sold it for 36. It's like, woo. That spike was crazy. About the only good thing I did with stocks. That's about it. I just I was playing with marijuana. I briefly played with Rocket, but I felt like it got a little too hot for me. The only other stocks that I have positions in, I bought single shares in companies that I'm doing options, straddles, and strangles on. But we'll get to that in options.
Okay. Well, let's move on to some
earnings.
You gave me a new song for that too, right?
We do have a new earnings song. Let's give that a listen.
I'm excited for this one. I've been requesting it for a while.
My motto's always been when I'm right, it's right. So I'll wait and watch the charts and the change in price. When the movement's mostly finished at the end of the day, and we know the coming earnings gonna move it my way. Skyrockets in sight, earnings call delight. Earnings call delight.
Oh, I'm ready for some earnings.
Starting to get to the tail end of the earnings season where, the pickings are getting a little slim. Let's see. On the 8th, we've got Stitch Fix. On the 9th, we've got Dick's Sporting Goods and H&R Block. And on the 10th, we've got Oracle. Oracle's an interesting one because you think it kind of run the same way that Salesforce did, except it's trading near its all-time high or 52-week high right now.
Really?
And I think I even saw some options alerts on them. They weren't big ones. They weren't big enough to really note, but I was seeing some activity on that where people seem to still be bullish on it. So I'm not really sure what's going on there. It's definitely one to keep an eye on. It might be worth take a look and see what the premiums are on that. It might be worth looking at a straddle.
Yeah, they just had a big boost on Friday. 6.5% up.
Yeah. Let's see. We got CPB, which I don't remember what it is. Campbell's Soup, sorry. We got Campbell's Soup, Bumble, and AMC also on the 10th. Bumble is reporting their first earnings since their IPO. I know that was one that you wanted to keep an eye on.
Mm-hmm.
And AMC is an interesting one for me, too, because there seems to still be a lot of short interest on that. Even the short interest itself doesn't look all that high as far as a percentage of the float, but the borrow rate is starting to get higher. It's creeping up. I think the last I saw it was approaching like 9% when it started the week out, or maybe last week was around like 1 or 2%. So usually when that rate starts going up, that's because it's getting harder and harder to find shares. And I think the utilization of the float shares as far as like being able to short them is over 90%. So there's something going on with AMC, and I think, obviously them and GameStop kind of mirror each other.
Yeah.
The two most, I guess, covered, or the two stocks that, people are most interested in as far as the short squeeze or potential goes. Having their earnings on the 10th, while they're not going to report anything really great as far as numbers, they're definitely going to lose. The question is going to be how much are they going to lose and the guidance that they're going to offer.
Right.
So there could be potential for something to happen on the 10th. That could be the catalyst everyone's waiting for to see maybe some potential squeeze happening there. On the 11th, we've got your favorite, JKS, Jinko Solar. And then I've got the one that I've taken the biggest beating on this last month, NNDM, Nano Dimensions. I think I bought them at 17. They're trading at like 8.
Oh.
But they have a short interest at almost 50% right now, and I just keep waiting for, Reddit to turn their attention onto them. I figure I'll hold on to them and see if, somebody figures out that, hey, these guys have a high short float too. Having the earnings report too is, definitely a possibility of being a catalyst to make something like that happen.
Which day is their earnings?
They're on the 11th,
The 11th.
along with JKS.
Okay.
And then on the 12th, we've got one of our ex-random stocks, Kirk. KIRK. That's on Friday.
So that's a big end to earnings season, huh?
We're getting to the end there. It's gonna, like I said, it's gonna be a little more slim pickings coming up here in the future episodes.
And then the next season starts what, in May?
If you do try anything with the Oracle, make sure you let us know in our Discord.
I gotta admit, I really wanna do a straddle. It's right around 70. I'd really love to buy a call and a put.
I might try to sell some of those actually. I might try to sell some calls, a bearish spread. Sell some. What is it trading at right now? It's almost 70. Like,
should we should we move on to options?
Yeah, okay, let's do that. Let's hear that new song too.
New options song.
A little less conversation, a little more options, please. All this volatility just ain't bothering me. A little more puts, a little less small, a little less puts, a little more calls. Cause they're trading up and up your ears, baby. It's time for options. It's time for options, baby.
Oh, yeah. We're talking about Oracle. Their last trade was at 69.97. Ameritrade's saying the bid is at 70.10 and the ask is at 70.19.
I'm pulling it up right now. Let's see the options chain.
Looks like 70 is a pretty much where it's at. Instead of the straddle, I do a strangle. I think I do $70 calls and $69 puts. Be a little cheaper, and then you're just betting that it either drops below 69 or shoots up above 70.
Let's see. So I like doing the $5 spreads, but man, that's a lot of risk. The 72.5 looks like it's selling at 110 to 118. So you got about $1 per if you pick that up at a risk of 250 in there. And that's assuming that it doesn't shoot up. I have a hard time believing it's going to shoot up.
Well, that's why I like the straddles and strangles. Is like you don't have to be right about the direction. You just have to be right about the momentum.
The problem with that is that you're still having to pay the premium for the earnings volatility, right? And then you're also having to make up enough to get the value to overcome the other bet.
Right. Well, that's why I like looking at the weekly. It's got 6 days to expire.
Yeah.
So you're not paying for really any time, and then the gamble is, like if I bought this straddle at $70 for the weekly, the call and the put together, they're both about $1.90 at the ask.
Yeah.
I just look at the ask.
You might be able to get 180.
Right. So you're looking at about $3.80 to get each of them. So you're betting that it's either gonna end the week 66 or lower or 74 or higher, which is
right.
at $70. That's 4 or 5%. You're talking, 5% is a 3.5. Yeah, it's about 5 or 6% swing up or down. I don't think that's a bad bet on.
I don't know. That's
and they're about to have their earnings.
Yeah, but historically, I don't think they move that much.
So yeah, that's a possible trade. I don't know if I'm gonna make it. I'll be on the Discord talking about it. I did make some options, straddles, and strangles this week. That some of them are weeklies. So this is my first foray. I didn't put a ton of money. Like I literally it's just like one call and one put. Like I just wanted to try this new strategy going forward with the weeklies. So GE hit my list this week. They hit some new highs on some good news. I don't even remember what the news was, but so I bought. It didn't matter to me, because when you're doing straddles and strangles, you're just betting on momentum and there's going to be a movement up or down. Doesn't matter which way. So I've noticed a lot of times with my list, a lot of these companies they hit these new highs, and then they just turn right back around. A lot of the times and drop down. Sometimes they keep going up. Obviously, we try to keep watching the ones going up, like Darling Ingredients. So anyway, it showed up, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna try this new thing. And GE on the 4th was trading around $13.50. I think I bought a share at $13.63 just to track it. I moved in. I bought a strangle and a straddle because I wanted to try them both and see it out. So I bought a straddle at $14 strike price. I bought a $14 call and a $14 put. The call was 46 cents. The put was 48 cents. So combined for 94 cents is what that cost me. So because it cost me 94 cents, I'm betting that it either ends the week at $13.04 or above $14.94 with the straddle.
What drove you to pick that? Was that just based on them hitting their high, or were you looking at the volatility charts too? Because I thought that was one of the other things we were talking about. Trying to pick these was looking for ones that had low volatility. So that way the prices of those options contracts were a lot lower.
So that's what the strategy I was looking at for naked calls.
Okay.
For a straddle and a strangle, I'm actually looking for a volatility because I want it to shift. I want it to swing. I don't care if it's up or down. I just want it to swing. Then I bought the strangle, which is like a straddle, but it's a little cheaper and it's a little more riskier. Like the straddle on the GE, I had the $14 call, $14 put, so it just has to end either above 14 or below 14. With the strangle, I bought a $13.50 put and a $14.50 call. So the strangle, I'm betting it's either gonna end up above 14.5 or below 13.5. So that's actually betting it's going to be way more volatile.
Where the trades at right now? How are they doing?
Well, they ended the first day pretty good. I ended the first day, I was up 17% on the GE on the strangle, and I was up 7% on the straddle. But after Friday, when it didn't move around much, because time. Apparently, that Game of Thrones quote works for options too. Nothing fucks you harder than time. I ended Friday. The strangle was down 19%. The straddle was down 14%. So, I'm hoping for some big moves in GE, but it could easily become my new favorite strategy depending on what happens. I did open up one on Exxon Mobil because oil seems to be doing big, and then I opened up some on QEP.
Yeah, you did make a bet on QEP.
I did, and I'll put those details in the Discord, just because I'm going along with options here. But it wouldn't, if you're savvy, it won't be hard to figure out if you pull up those quotes what the strangle and straddles will be, because the prices haven't moved much since when I entered those positions.
All right, I've got. You experimented with strangles and straddles. I spent the last week experimenting with covered calls. Mm-hmm. And I initially never really looked too close at these. But, man, the more I experiment with them, the more I really like them. Oh, yeah? Especially if you remember how we talked about selling puts to lower your cost basis in order to buy a stock you like? Yeah. Well, this is kind of the same thing, but you're selling calls in order to lower that price. And then you're basically saying, if I get, the price of the contract that I sold, and you can have my shares that I bought for way cheaper, and I'm perfectly happy with that. Right. So the first one I went with, I looked at the highest volatility stocks on that screener that you sent out on the Discord. Mm-hmm. I think you shared us a link with that last week. OCGN was a healthcare one that had was way up there. It was in the same range as GameStop has been. I bought the shares and sold a 1250 call expires March 19th for a net debit of $7.50 a share because that premium was so high.
Oh, wow.
So basically, come March 19th, as long as the shares are worth more than $7.50, I'm making money. They reported or released some vaccine test results later, like a day or two later. Drove the stock all the way up to 14, but it fell off for the rest of the week. It's still trading in between 8.5 and 9 right now. But still happy with it. You know, I tried to buy more as it was going up. I'm glad I didn't as it was going up because I would be crying now.
Yeah. Oh.
I still may look at trying to get a couple more next week after it kind of fell with the rest of the market. The other stock I looked at for doing this was WWR.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I sold 750 April calls and bought shares for a net debit of $4.90 a share. And that one started really nicely, but it dropped below my break-even point on Friday, which kind of sucks. This is where not being able to watch everything, you know, every minute of every day really starts to kind of hurt you. Because if I was quick, I was paying attention, you know, when it got to that break-even point, I could have sold out and just waited, let it kept dropping, and then I could buy the shares back at even cheaper and lower that break-even point again. I mean, it dropped all the way down to $4 a share. I could have had it at.
Yeah, that would have been a big win.
But you know, in my head, I wasn't thinking I didn't think it was gonna drop much further than like 550. To be honest with you, after drawing out the trend lines, I thought that was where its bottom was gonna be. The fact that it dropped into a new point, I may just have to sell those shares and just put in like a protective buy in case they get back to 750 again, just to protect myself from, you know, any infinite losses potential. I tried to sell calls. If you remember, Nordstrom had their earnings report last week. I was trying to sell calls against the shares that I already owned because I didn't think they were going to move up. And I tried to sell some against my Virgin Galactic positions, but neither of those ended up filling at the price that I put in. I put in at the high end of the bid ask. I think I put it in at the ask, thinking, you know, they're my shares. If I get it, then I'm happy. If not, then whatever.
Yeah.
But that's something that I think I want to start doing too, because there's so much priced in when those earnings come out. If I own, you know, a block of 100 shares on something and those earnings are coming out, I think I might start trying to sell some calls just to keep lowering that cost basis of those positions. And then if they end up, you know, exercising, then that's great for me because
you sold them at a profit.
That's higher than what I thought it would be at. Basically predetermined my profit, and I'll cash that every day.
I haven't hit that next level of options trading, but listening to you talk about selling these covered calls, I do have some blocks of stocks that have 100 shares, and I'm thinking like, wow, I should start getting in on this game.
The thing with covered calls is that they're actually available. It's the most basic one that you're actually allowed to do.
Oh, I might be able to start doing it right now.
If you own the shares, there's no risk, right?
Yeah.
So getting approved for the extra levels of options is all about risk managing and knowing how that extra risk relates to the moves that you're trying to make. They're trying to protect you from selling naked calls or, you know, things that have unlimited risk potential. There's no unlimited risk potential if you're doing a covered call. You have the shares available. You're just saying, I'd be happy selling these at this price, this point down the line.
Yeah, I'm gonna get in on that game with marijuana options. The Operation Get Rich Off Marijuana continues.
Especially when it comes around the earnings season. When you can look and see, I need to find a good site that will report the expected earnings, or at least come up with a quicker way to calculate that metric. Because if you look at what like the options are pricing in, a lot of times it's less than what the actual average move is. And over time, if you're making those bets, you're gonna make money on that. All right, should we cover some quick alerts?
Let's cover some options alerts.
All right. TSM, one of our favorite semiconductor stocks. April 16th, $125 calls at $3.95 a contract, $237,000. Pinterest, May 21st, $80 calls at $6.20 a contract, $1.5 million. Disney, 1/20/23, $175 calls at $43 a contract, $1.2 million. I think we've seen Disney in there a couple times too. T-Doc. What is T-Doc again? That's Teladoc, I think. It's a company that does remote doctor visits, I'm guessing. 1/21/22, $175 puts at $23.10, $1.1 million. And this was a bullish indicator, so that means the person was selling the puts. And then we have an Amazon 4/16, $3,000 calls at $151 a contract, $3.3 million. Yeah, I tried to stay out of the IT ones as much as possible, seeing as how tech was getting kind of beat up, but there still were a couple of really high dollar ones in there that I just had to put down. One of the things I want to do with these alerts, though, is I'm going to go back through since about mid-January, since we started kind of, since the format kind of morphed into what it is now, where I actually put all the relevant information in there. And I'm going to go and look and see where the value is in reporting these, if mimicking these trades, it gives you an edge in any way, shape, or form. So look to the website for that coming out here in the next week or so.
Sounds good to me. Any other options alerts?
Nope, that's all the ones that caught my eye.
Okay, I think it's time for... Oh, God, what's that over there?
Not falling for that again. What was your good, Dan?
Oh, my good is I'm continuing to learn and grow as an investor.
I like that.
Honestly, my good is that though my portfolio was down and I did make some bad moves through the week, overall my psychology and my emotional feelings and connections to what I'm doing are in a way better place.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, with everything falling off a cliff, I didn't have to talk you off a ledge at any point last week, it seems like.
No, you didn't.
Whereas when we first started, that felt like a weekly process.
Like, oh, God, I suck at this, Kyle. I'm going to die. I'll have no money.
That's fine, because my good was actually my process for the cover calls that I did, my experimenting with those.
Yeah.
And I did kind of the same thing with you did. I didn't throw down a ton of money on these because it was more about learning. Mm-hmm. That was kind of something we talked with George about. There's no real expectation in here other than trying to learn about the process, what works, what doesn't. I really like the process that I made. The results were mixed so far, but I feel like the process was sound. What I used to identify those two stocks that I picked as my targets for the cover calls. One was based on volatility, one was based on a price channel analysis that I did. I think what I could stand to learn from that and apply going forward has the chance to make me some money as I take what works and throw out what doesn't.
No, it's just like Richard Friesen said, focus on improving your process, don't focus on the results.
Oh, so we had 2 guests in a row.
Yeah,
Same
right?
thing.
Boom.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
My bad was not waiting and watching MJ for moving as much heavy into it as I did. If I'd literally waited 2 hours, I could have done much better. Because it dipped down to like 20 and then dipped back up to 21. It was like,
My bad was not paying attention close enough to my WWR shares, my Westwater Resources shares, because I could have sold those when it got close to that break-even point, or even,
above it.
When it dropped below the point that I was targeting, that I said I didn't think it would drop below, when it did that, I should have sold it there. And then I could have put in, like a 20-cent rising buy. I might have given back some of the potential gains, but I mean, if I would have done that, it looks like I would have saved myself quite a bit of money, actually. Would have lowered that cost basis all the way down to, below $4 a share.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
If I get to keep my shares, then I can turn around and sell another set of calls or another monthly once those other ones expire. That's what happens. You can't watch charts all day. You gotta.
Sometimes life happens.
You have to automate as much as you can.
My ugly was definitely pre-market trading. The NASDAQ ETFs. I should never ever trade pre-market. I've never once traded something pre-market and been like, well, that was a good move. Not once. And I did it again. Yeah, I just got to leave the pre-market alone. That's it. That's all I got to do.
Yeah. Oh, it's so addicting. As soon as I wake up, I'm checking pre-market.
I know. Well, what was your ugly?
I think just my portfolio as a whole, the fucking sell-off just wrecked it. This is my whole portfolio. This is what I was talking about before, where I probably need to figure out a way to separate all of this. Take my long-term holdings and put it in another portfolio that I don't stare at all day long.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do before I got pissed with Robinhood.
The problem with that, though, is that I lose the capital requirements for being able to make, day trades and all the other, stuff I put into.
Right.
All the different approvals I've gotten. And so, I don't know. I got to take a closer look at that and see if there's something I can do better. Or start slowly shifting everything over to Webull, maybe.
Yeah, Webull's not a bad one. That brings us to the bet.
They're the center of a universe that's for every one of us. consequence for one of us. We make our picks with no regret. Every open, every close, every spread. It's the mighty bet.
All right, so it looks like you get to go first again. We should just establish that as going forward, you're always going to lose, so you'll always go first.
Man, I still haven't figured out which one I'm going to pick. Oh, shit. Hang on. Let me pull up some charts real quick. I've got a list of 4 to choose from.
Well, I had 2, and I just flipped a coin, so you have a 4-sided coin?
No, I don't. I think it's going to be OCGN. I think that's the one I want to go with. The one I made my covered call on. It's got extensive volatility, but I need to put a stop loss in a lot lower. So it bottomed out at 750 roughly on Friday. I think that's going to be my sell limit.
Okay, OCGN 750 stop loss.
And if it ends up opening above, let's say, probably $10, then I'm not going to buy that. I'm going to buy BGS.
Okay. And then do you have a stop loss for BGS?
Just the standard 15% on that one.
All right.
Or wait. I think that one was going to actually be BG. This is getting a little more convoluted than I wanted to. BGS would be about $28.
Oh, yeah, the $28 stop seems to be good for you.
That's where it's touching around, but that's my backup.
All right, yeah, that's your backup bet. I gotcha. You don't want to get burned again by a big pre-market jump.
The goddamn pre-market fucked me last week.
You know what's funny, Kyle? It's funny to me is the more convoluted and more complex you make your bet, it hasn't gotten you anywhere. Like I've won 2 months in a row.
Because there's another condition I missed.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Wait. Wait. I didn't give you a stop loss after it crosses above that 750.
Wait, what do you mean?
The other one, the other stock. If I get my first pick, it's standard 15% stop loss. Once that's above 750.
I like to keep it simple. I'm just gonna do a bet pick. My bet pick, Kyle, is Darling Ingredients, the kick-ass consumer staple company on our pick'em list.
All right, or maybe on our pick'em list.
might have gotten stop lossed out. We'll see. Yeah. They did a really solid bounce back last week, and I'm gonna raw dog it and regular 15% stop loss. I don't care what it opens with. Just give me the stock on Monday and see where it ends on Friday.
All right, you ready for a random?
I sure am. I'm champing at the bit for it.
Got another really good. I'm really liking this random stock site because it gives us really good quotes. This one fits our show so well. Stupidity, well packaged, can sound like wisdom by Burton G. Macgill. Oh, that's a great quote. All right. Oh no, I think we might have gotten something. FLO, Flower Foods.
Okay, that is a consumer staple.
Well, it looks like we might all be riding the same boat.
FLO, Flowers Foods. The year chart on that looks pretty stable. It's been bouncing between 22 and 25. I don't know. I don't think it's a big unless all consumer staples turn around. I think.
Well, that's kind of what we're seeing. That might be a. God damn it! I feel like I should keep BGS as my pick.
Still time. The episode's still taping.
Or should I go against the trend? That's game theory. It's my only chance to win is for you guys to do bad and me to do well. I'm not going to. No, I'm keeping it.
Okay.
I'm keeping it.
All right.
Keeping it like I said. As I said. All right.
All right. So those are our bet picks. Kyle's OCGN. I'm DAR. And random is FLO. Going to be excited to see what happens next week. See if I can keep this streak going.
God damn it.
Oh, all right. But so,
it's just getting funny now.
Yeah, right? Oh, folks, we're so glad you made it to the end of the show with us. We're so glad that you're all here in the China shop. We just love you so much. If you like our show, let us know by rating and subscribing on your platform of choice. And if you like our show and you hate social media platforms like me, tell all your friends. Let them know. Shop is always more fun the more people are in it. And if you don't have any friends to tell, well, join the shop. Come to the Discord. Make some friends. Come on. Get in there.
Yes, please. Yes. And we're going to be making that a lot more interactive, too, to try to get make it more entertaining for you guys.
Right. It's just always a good time. All right, so that's our show, folks. Stay tuned. We got a good guest, David Modell, coming up here. We also have the highly esteemed Sue Pullen. We got to get that episode out here soon. It was just lots of great stuff coming up for you.
A lot of guests, man. We had a lot of guests.
A lot of guests.
Couple months.
A lot of people want to come to the shop and talk to you. Yeah.
Who would have thought, huh?
Who would have thought
anybody would want to talk to us?
Right. My mother doesn't even want to talk to me.
I know, right?
Right.
She always said I'd amount to nothing.
Boy, I proved her right. Until next week, happy trades, folks. We'll catch you next time.
All right, bye.
Two Bulls in a China Shop is an entertainment program, and all thoughts and opinions expressed in the show belong to the hosts and not of any company. They are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual or on any specific security or investment product. It is only intended to provide entertainment about stocks in the financial industry of trading. If you make trades based on what you hear in this show, you assume all risks for those trades.